Hello and welcome everybody back to Christian's Fragrance Reviews. So as you can see, I'm in a new location. So the last two videos I actually did in Mallorca, and the two videos before that I did at my parents' place. But today I'm in my own apartment and I finally have a proper background to show. And yeah, I also noticed that the video for Boundless from Amouage, like the first impressions video I did a while back, actually got a lot of views. So I decided I will talk about the sister fragrance of Boundless, which is called Material. So I have a sample here from the fragrance. So as you know, Amouage for a long time had the classical men's line and the woman's line, and I think now they decided to make every new fragrance unisex because reasons. I'm personally not a big fan of making every fragrance a unisex fragrance. I understand that there's like this current discussion in the fragrance community. People should just, buy what they want and wear what they want, regardless of gender. And I agree with that. I don't even disagree with that point. But what bothers me about like this make everything unisex kind of trend is like, if there's a fragrance which is like specially made for a woman, then I as a man, I'm not interested in that fragrance, like not to buy it or to sample it. I don't know, it's like, I don't want to waste my time trying a unisex fragrance and it then turns out to be like a very feminine fragrance and I would like never wear it or then I would like never wear it or just like want to own it. And then I can't stress this enough. If you like a fragrance which is like from the opposite, which is actually meant for the opposite gender, then by all means you can wear it. That's not a problem. But I think I see more the problem that it's like difficult to navigate like so many fragrances. And if you clearly make a feminine fragrance, or if you clearly make a manly fragrance, I think you should also market it as such. So Boundless has the traditional manly bottle, like the big tall bottle. Officially it's a unisex fragrance, but I would say it's a little bit more masculine leaning. This fragrance has the classical female bottle, but I would say this is actually like a unisex fragrance. I think a man could totally wear this, I think you should also sample this if you're a woman or a man. So I think this is a very oriental and also pretty much dead on unisex kind of fragrance. I think it could be considered a little bit more of a female fragrance because it's mostly based on labdanum, and I think labdanum is actually used traditionally more in female fragrances than it is used in men's fragrances. But still, I think this is overall a good unisex type of fragrance. But how does it actually smell like? So the official notes for Material are, before I tell you the official notes, in summary, this is a very resinous type of fragrance, and you will actually know once you hear about the notes. So the notes are elemi resin and patchouli in the top notes. In the hard notes you have bourbon, vanilla absolute and benzoin. And in the base notes you have gaiac wood, oud, osmanthus absolute, frankincense resin, labdanum absolute and tonka bean absolute. So right from the beginning, from the note pyramid, you'll notice you have a lot of resins. Elemi resin, benzoin is a resin, frankincense is a resin, labdanum is a resin. So a very resinous type of fragrance. So when you actually spray on the fragrance first, it starts very strong and very bold, which is not uncommon with Amouage fragrances. Amouage fragrances are not the kind of fragrances which are like, the top note is usually not that well, but it actually dries down, the fragrance actually dries down to like a more chill and more beautiful version. So you shouldn't go off of the top notes with Amouage fragrances. So the top notes are very strong, very bold. I feel like there's a lot of labdanum and patchouli in the top note. But then it actually, I would say after 15 minutes, 20 minutes, it actually dries down. And then when it starts drying down, you actually get more spices. So I feel this fragrance also has spices, not as many as Boundless. I think Boundless is a mostly spicy kind of fragrance with a frankincense base and also vanilla base. This one, it does have spices, but it's all on top of a very resinous type of base. So you have the labdanum, which are prominent, you have the benzoin, which is prominent, and then you also have this sweetness and the creaminess of vanilla. So I sprayed this here earlier, so I have the dry down here. Yeah, so it is. So it's quite oriental, resinous. It has this spiciness. And it's interesting, I would also like to talk to you about the concepts. So in the concepts, I just read what Amouage writes, because the marketing, I don't know, I don't 100% get it, because Amouage says material is a paradox. Through its materiality, it evokes immateriality, teaching us to look beyond appearances and to realize that what matters is often unseen. An experience akin to standing in a grove and seeing in the swelling shade a multitude of textures and manifold hues of wood, leaf and bark, all coming together into one. Yeah, I don't really get this concept, to be honest, like the concept of Interlude and Sunshine Man, like they made more sense to me. But what I wanted to say about this fragrance is actually a very well blended fragrance. So very well blended means that it's difficult to exactly smell one note. Like even when I smell this here, like it feels spicy, it feels resinous, but I can't really pick out one specific note. There's like not one prominent note. Yeah, so through its very smooth and very good blend, it actually conveys the concept of the sweltering shade and the multitude of textures. So I think the concept or the marketing here is more referring to the blend of the fragrance, maybe not so much about the actual smell of the fragrance. So a fragrance which reminded me of this fragrance is actually a Chanel fragrance, which is called Le Lion de Chanel. In comparison to this fragrance, Le Lion de Chanel is more smoky. It's also based on labdanum as this fragrance. And yeah, so this one would be not as smoky, a little bit more smooth, not as strong and maybe not as bold as Lion. I think Lion is actually a pretty bold fragrance through its labdanum, resins and smokiness. Also, Le Lion has aldehydes and a little bit more fresh notes. This one stays pretty dark and dense, in my opinion, like in comparison to this fragrance. So if you know Le Lion, this will seem familiar, in my opinion. So about the performance of this fragrance it's kind of a mixed bag. So the longevity is really good. I get a longevity of about 10 hours, so really good longevity on the skin, but this actually comes with a price. So the projection, in my opinion, is not that good. So the projection is maybe mediocre, almost like a skin type scent. So I feel like the fragrance maybe projects like this, but I wish it would project more like this. So more like people, you know, which come by or pass by, then they would actually smell you. Like right now, only people smell you if they like actually come really close. So I feel like, so you have this bold, strong opening, and then of course then the projection is like super strong, but this projection only is there for like, I don't know, 15-20 minutes. And then when it dries down, it stays pretty close. So that's a bit of a disappointment for me. I wish that this very dense and heavy formulation with a lot of resins, you know, it sticks very much to the skin. I wish there would be like more like lighter components, lighter notes to just give this fragrance more projection. So like even if the longevity is like less, even if the longevity is like, for example, 8 hours instead of 10 hours, I think it would be a worthwhile trade-off. Now you have a long-lasting fragrance which doesn't project that much. Yeah, so this is why I think the performance is a little bit more of a mixed bag. So if you can compare it, for example, to Interlude, like Man, has both great longevity and has a great projection like throughout the lifetime. So making a fragrance which lasts long and projects long is actually super hard. This one is really good on the longevity part, maybe not so much on the projection. So in what occasion should you wear this? So this is a little bit of a difficult question. I think this fragrance is a very like upper class kind of fragrance. So I think you could wear this when you go on a date, like in the evening. It seems more of a going out evening type of fragrance. Or you could also wear it to work, because I think it doesn't project that much, so it's not that annoying. But the notes, the darker, deeper, richer notes, they tend to be a little bit more, I think, more like sensual and maybe a little bit more dirty. So overall, I think this would be more of a like nighttime fragrance, like leisure time fragrance, maybe not so much like a daytime fragrance. And also then it's sort of a going out type of fragrance when you want to get noticed, for example, like in the club, where you actually want more projection. You know, you want people like looking around and be like, who's smelling like this? This one would be, I think, better, like for example, if you go to a dinner, because when you go to a dinner, like a very nice and fancy restaurant, where you actually, you know, need to reserve in advance, and there I think it would be like a really nice fragrance, because then if you actually have a perfume on, you don't want to project it that much, because when you eat your food, you don't want to have to smell in the nose while you eat. So I think this would be a really good date type of fragrance, or just like upper class, higher class fragrance. So yeah, it's I think this is where the fragrance would be best suited. So overall, in summary, I would describe this fragrance as a very classical, oriental, resinous type of fragrance, which is like made for upper class people. It's definitely unisex, and if you like those resinous, a little bit sweet, not too sweet, it's like mature, elegant, and like a little bit like a timeless kind of fragrance, then I think you should give this a try. So overall, I think it's a really good fragrance. When it comes to projection, I would prefer it a little bit more, but that's just my personal opinion. And before I go, I wanted to ask you, what do you actually want to see in my future videos? So I already have a video planned, which is supposed to compare different fragrances, like clones. So I will do an Aventus clone type of fragrance. So I ordered different clones of Aventus, and I also have an original Aventus bottle. And I will give you my opinion on the Aventus clones, which are currently on the market, which you can buy, which is the best one, which would be like, you know, your best, for example, which would be the best clone just overall smell, or which would be like a very good clone just depending on price. So I will give you my opinion on that. And then I will also do a clone video of the interlude fragrance. So I also have the interlude fragrance. I did a review about that. I know this fragrance very well, so I can give you like my honest opinion, what I think about the clones. So I have 2 clones for interlude. And yeah, I have more fragrances from Amouage. So I have from the Renaissance collection Enclave, I have Beloved Man, and I have a new bottle, actually I have Myths Man as well. So just let me know, like from these 3 Amouage fragrances I just mentioned right now, which one you would like to hear more about. And I have a ton of more fragrance samples. So if there's like a fragrance you specifically want me to talk about, just let me know in the comments and I will try to make a video about it. So this was my review of material from Amouage. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave me a like and subscribe, and I will see you for the next video. Bye bye.